Please welcome Maria Renner, Grid Exponential.
Hi, I'm Maria Renner, partner at GridX. GridX is a VC fund focused in biotech in Latin America. We work with a company builder model, matching scientists and business profiles, and we invest in a very early stage. Currently, it's a huge challenge to develop diagnostic tools that are both accurate and affordable. The team at Gisens is solving this. Luis will share the details, but I can already tell you this. They are experts in nanotechnology and material science. A core technology for them is the graphene sensor, which makes it possible for the system to be scalable and reproducible. I'm proud to introduce Luis from Gisens. Thank you.
Breaking the wall to the digitisation of biology. Luis Pierpauli, Gisens.
You will meet today, on average, 10 people. 3 out of those 10 people suffer from kidney disease and don't know it. Because of that, they will die on average 20 years before the other 7. Now, the question that I make you is, when was the last time you took the 2 tests needed to know if it was you, one of those patients? Well, because diagnostics is centralized, is expensive and inconvenient, up to 90% of patients never get diagnosed. And when they do, they require lifelong dialysis, treatment, and they will die waiting for a kidney that will never come. The most egregious part is that there are pharmacological treatments that could help these people avoid these catastrophic healthcare consequences. And if you think the problem is bad here in Europe, wait until you hear what's happening in countries like where I grew up. So how do we fix this? At Gisens Biotech, we are leveraging nanotechnology, biotechnology, and electronics to create simple, affordable, and accurate diagnosis to conduct the 2 tests needed to diagnose kidney disease from anywhere and everywhere. We run tests in minutes that would otherwise take days. Now, again, when was the last time you took the 2 tests that were needed to know if you were sick? Well, on your next clinician visit, you can ask him or her to run the test, and you will leave the consult knowing whether you are healthy or not. We're breaking the wall between human health and the digital world, between biology and electronics. How do we do that? We have created a novel generation of field effect biosensors that can translate biological signals into electrical ones. Try to imagine turning an Intel microchip, but instead of using digital signals, it takes biological signals, and it spits them out into a device that we created ourselves so that all of that information is integrated into the patient's health record. I know this sounds a little bit like science fiction, but actually this is how science goes from bench to bedside. We have published recently one of our latest validations where we actually put this device in the hands of patients and untrained users and reported accuracies of over 99% for some of the kidney disease biomarkers. And that is why we are actually engaged in conversations with FDA officials in the United States and have already filed pre-submissions to get this device into the hands of patients as soon as possible. None of this would be possible without the incredible team that we have put together. One of my co-founders, who happens to be here, is a graduate from Cambridge University. He did his postdoc there. He was a researcher at Max Planck Institute and has consistently, for the past 5 years, been named among the top 2% in the field of nanoscience and nanotechnology by Stanford University. Thank you, Omar. Our youngest co-founder has published over 10 high-impact peer-reviewed articles, and he is the proud author of 3 patents at the ripe age of 35. My only job, believe it or not, was quitting a 5-figure job at a multinational company to join these scientists in this mission. And let me tell you this, I do not regret that decision for a minute of my life. So our platform technology allows us to expand our offer beyond chronic kidney disease. But we're focusing on CKD first because it is the most prevalent and the most egregious and silent disease in the world, affecting over 850 million people worldwide. 90%, remember, don't know they have it. So I ask you once again, when was the last time you took the 2 tests needed to know if you were sick? Well, I'll tell you the answer for me. I took mine 9 months ago during demo day at Berkeley Skydeck, one of our latest investors. And I can tell you with a lot of certainty, I am not sick. So I hope that the next time we meet, you can tell me the same thing. Join us in the mission of revolutionizing at-home and point-of-care diagnostics, starting with kidney disease. Thank you.
Fantastic. Great pitch.
Thank you.
They know how to do marketing, right? This is really good. Okay, let's go for the question. Are we ready? I see first question here, second question here, third question here. To start with, Frank, you were the first one.
Thank you very much for the... No, now it works, yeah. Thank you very much for the presentation. I've not understood what is the business model. Direct-to-consumer business or getting reimbursement? If you want to get reimbursement, what is the clinical outcome and what are the clinical studies you plan to do?
That is a great question. Thank you. Actually, the business model is B2B to begin with. We are looking to sell this device and the consumables to small clinics, patient care facilities, senior assisted living, and ultimately as a companion diagnostics for people going kidney dialysis and replacement therapy. The whole idea is we will target early diagnosis by targeting clinics and small hospitals that currently don't have the capabilities to run these tests. And as a companion diagnostics, we will target the existing sick population. There are CPT codes available for both uses in the United States, which is our initial target market. So ideally, we will get reimbursement. And based on the conversations that we've had with the FBA, based on the fact that this is a breakthrough technology, we do have a very clear pathway to reimbursement via CMS, at least in the United States. The story is a little bit different in Europe, but we'll tackle Europe once we get the US. In the clinical studies, we have already run one that's been published right there. And right now we're in conversations with 2 medical centers in Texas where we're going to basically prove, 1, that this can be deployed at the point of need without losing accuracy, the accuracy that we showed, and 2, that by diagnosing early the disease, we are providing real value because new pharmacological interventions can stop the disease progression. So that's a little bit of what the indications are going to be.
Great. We have a lot of questions coming up. We have Luca this time. Please.
Thank you so much for the presentation. My question goes in the same direction. Can you talk a little bit about your go-to-market strategy? How far are you commercially? What's your plan?
Yes, actually, we have secured a letter of intent with an organization in the United States, particularly in the state of Texas. What we want to do as a go-to-market is initially target, like we said, clinicians' offices, small clinics, places where they do actually primary care, because most of these patients will get diagnosed at the primary care level. And the reason why they don't get diagnosed at that level is because testing is centralized and they never get both tests at the same time. So the whole idea is we'll tackle them. Once we have them, we'll move on to senior assisted facilities and places where they care for patients with chronic kidney disease, but don't have the equipment to run the ongoing lab tests. Ideally, in the future, we want to go D2C, but that's a bridge that we'll cross when we get there.
The third question will be by Manon, please.
I had actually the same question, so maybe it's a little bit redundant about commercialization, but maybe you can tell us a little bit more about the unit economics of the device.
Yes, absolutely, and it's not redundant, and if it were, I'd be happy to address it again. Unit economics basically is we are developing the hardware, that's basically the device that's the one-time sell. This is actually cost of goods about $97. Then the consumable, which is what the test is run on, this is about $4 each. comparable to what it would cost right now at a centralized lab, that would be 35 to 45 bucks in the United States. Then we have to add distribution and logistics costs. But right now we can make a good 40% margin and still get reimbursed with existing CPT codes in the United States. Again, Europe is a different story. I'm responding to what we have researched in the US.
And that's it already. I'm sorry for the last question. Very sorry. Andreas,
you.
next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.